Good evening, guys. Doing my part. Okay, so thank you very much for joining today. All of you. It's been an interesting time teaching all of you. And I hope those of you who are watching this cohort later on, you just joined. I hope you're enjoying your course so far. If you have any questions, please put it down in the question section on the app, right? And our reviews or question where you ask question and I'll answer them immediately, or you use the community and I respond there faster. So, okay. So someone had asked that if you don't have a Namecheap account, if you don't have a hosting account, can you have cPanel? Or how do you access cPanel without host? So you cannot access cPanel without your hosting account. It is when you buy a host that they give you your cPanel. The host is like a server, like a space where all your details are stored. So when you buy a host, they give you access. That access is your control panel, your cPanel. So you cannot log in to get your host without the cPanel. You cannot get it to get the cPanel without a host. It works like that. Now, you can log into your cPanel by going into this. This is my own cPanel, and it will take you to cPanel where to log in, right? But I don't like to log in here because it involves me putting password, and I don't have that time. So I even logged into the wrong Namecheap account, Seth. Oh no, it's the right one, sorry. But I can just come here. Let's say I have this drivers.co has a cPanel. I'll just come here and click go to cPanel, and I'll be redirected instantly to cPanel. When I get to cPanel, I can now find all my details. So to start today, we are going to be discussing quite a lot about cPanel. Yesterday, I showed you guys how to install WordPress. So let's try and do that exercise again before we get started. We'll go to Softaculous app installer. Let's try. Let's check if that's true. Let's even check if our SSL has updated. Remember, we installed SSL in the last class, and it was pending. So let's check if it has installed. Yeah, you see that test.travel.sco is installed. So now let's go and install a new WordPress. So go to Softaculous app installer. You click on install WordPress here. Install. And you select HTTPS and it will select. And you can name your site whatever you want to name it. You can store your password, admin, and 90 question mark hashtag. Bad box. Okay. So you can unpublish this. I don't like to select these plugins because they automatically install. Okay, so I can come here and also insert my mail. Very easy, right? If you have that, and password strength must be greater than 80. Wahala. So it's installing. So you see, they say I already have an installation for this. So if I want to proceed, I will have to cancel the other one. I can do that by just going to Softaculous, check my installation, come here, and delete. So I can either back it up. So let me back it up. I'll be showing you guys how to back up today. So it's very easy to create. You can do this over and over again. Sometimes you can be building and you just mess everything up. Just come back and reinstall. You'll be fine. Right? All right, so let's forge ahead today. Today we're going to be, talking about cPanel and everything about cPanel. The first thing we're going to be discussing today is the file manager. So what is the file manager? The file manager is a browser-based interface in cPanel that lets you view, edit, upload, move, and delete files on your server. So this is your file manager, right? This is where you have all your files. You can edit, you can upload, you can move, you can delete files on your server, all from this place, right? This is your file manager. Now, there are different parts of the website that we're going to be looking around, but it's not every part of the website that we're going to pay attention to. Just select few that concerns us. Others, you rarely use it when you're building websites. And if it's something serious, we can treat that in the community. Maybe someone wants to, check something or try something. But there are just specific things we're going to be picking from cPanel today, starting with the file manager. Now, think of it as your control panel for your website folder structure, right? So let's open the file manager. If you're on your laptop too, you can open the file manager. Let's open the file manager. It's essential for advanced maintenance, debugging, and backups. It helps in backing up files manually before major updates. It allows you to edit configurations like your WordPress configurations. It also helps you remove unwanted or outdated files that may slow your work or your website down. And it's crucial when troubleshooting plugins and themes. Also, when you want to remove and add themes, everything happens in your file manager. Now, your file manager is under your cPanel. So pay attention. Your file manager is under where? Your cPanel. And your file manager it allows you to do so much with the files. Every file you have there, every website you've built, everything is inside here. Okay, so let's look at the structure of this. If you want to add a new file, this is how you add a new file, and it will be created and added here. If you want to add a new folder, we have different folders here. If you want to add a different folder, maybe you want the folder to contain your themes. You can just to store them. I can just have my theme folder here. And anytime I open these themes, you can upload. You can upload. And you see, uploading for this particular website is infinity, but most times it's between 1 to 5 gig. So if I select a file, let me go to my WordPress, my themes. Okay. So I'm uploading this theme, right? If I go back here and I reload, hold on. Okay, that's not confirmed. It's supposed to show green. Just gonna wait for it. Yeah, it's green now. So let's go. You see, my file is here. Now I can unzip this or I can copy it, right? And to unzip, all you need to do is to extract. So if you extract this, you have all of this, right? So close. This is the template itself. You can upload this as you like. You can view other parts of the template as you like, right? Now, but what if I want to upload a theme? Because that's a template. It can still be the same thing. So be careful that you don't upload in the wrong document. And this is how you find out. You check here. In this directory now, you can see themes and templates. That means here, themes/template. That means you're uploading in the template file, not in the theme file. So what you want to go back is, you want to go back to themes. Let's This is our file that we just uploaded. This is when we unzipped it. So we can actually just delete everything that is here. And you click on, let's delete, trash. Yeah, delete. You can skip trash and delete permanently or just delete, right? So Now let's see if we can upload a theme. I'm looking for a theme. This is a template. Okay, I have Elementor Elements plugin. So let's go and get a theme. So I just want to show you guys how to use your file manager.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir. Sir, is this for the two app we download, the WordPress and Xamarin that we downloaded? Because I'm using the offline version.
Oh, no, no, no. If you are using the offline version, this doesn't work for you. You
Yeah, so
just have
because
to take the theme. I will tell you how to put files in the offline version. I'll show you. Just hold on.
okay, sir.
Hold on. I don't know why this is taking forever. Okay, so for the offline version, yeah, if you have a theme, let's go to XAMPP. You see your htdocs. In your htdocs, let's say, which one did we open yesterday? It was Techie Pulse or something. Yes, now you go to WP content and your themes. This is where you add your themes, right? Once you put it here, it will automatically show. So let's see if we can practice that. I don't have a theme. I'm looking for it. I used to have, my hard drive is not here. If my hard drive is here now, I would have found, okay, I've seen themes. WordPress, what? Okay, so this is a theme. So I'm just going to unzip this and I'm going to go to this. Where's it? I'm going to copy this and I'm going to open XAMPP. htdocs, and I'm going to go to Techie Pulse, WP contents, themes, and I paste. Now, let's visit this Techie Pulse. I can't remember my password from yesterday. Okay, I think I can. Localhost. Okay, so we're supposed to start XAMPP. Sorry, before I go and load it now, tell me it does not exist. So start Apache and start this thing. Okay. So localhost slash Techie. Okay, so we're already logged in. So let's go to dashboard. When we go to appearance and themes, where's our theme? Okay, you see, they say the following themes are installed but broken. So let's go back to that folder and let's see why it's broken. Okay, it has different. Oh, okay. It has different. Okay, I see what the problem is now. So I'm just gonna delete it. I'm just gonna delete it. Hold on. I'm gonna delete it. And let me see. Let me be sure that it's no longer there. Okay. So let's go back to the themes. Let me open it, the full package, the theme install, and this is it. So I'm just going to unzip this. Please pay attention. This is, if you're doing this offline, this is how you can install your theme, right? And I'm going to copy this. Okay, so I'm going to copy the unzipped file. Let's see, copy. And I'm going to come here. Sorry. I'm going to come here to Techie Pulse on that WP content, WordPress content and themes, and I'm just going to paste. Okay. So now, when I refresh, you see, this is the theme. It has been added. Can you see it? Instantly. Now, there are other ways you can do it. Now, let's go back to our folder. Let's delete it so that you can see that you can also do it online. So we're just going to come here and refresh. Let's refresh. It'll be gone. Yeah. So we can click on Add Theme and click on Upload Theme and click on Choose File. InvadeX, let me install, and this is the file, the zipped file. When you're uploading manually, you upload zip file. That's if you're working offline and online too. You upload the zip file. Make sure it is the main file, not the one, because when you download an application, when you download a theme and you unzip it, sometimes it carries other files inside. So make sure you are uploading the file itself. You see the child and the child is so that you can make edits and to not interrupt the main one. You can delete later. But this is the main theme. You get it, and then it's going to be zipped. Don't unzip it. And then you click on open, and then you install, and then it starts installing. See? Very fast. And then you can click on activate. If you click on activate, yeah, so it starts to walk you through the process and all of that. But if I go back and I go back to if I check my htdocs now, you'll see that the file is there. Can you see? Can see that the file is there, so I can just delete it. So this is for those that are doing offline. If you want to upload something to your WordPress, come to appearance and themes, then you click on upload. So let's go to appearance. Then you click on, so it's no longer there again. Uh, let's refresh. Yeah, it's no longer there again. So you click on appearance and theme. You can add theme or you go via the folder. But if you are online, if you are also going through file manager, if you are going through the file manager, all you need to do is come from this place and you click on install and you look for the theme itself and you upload it. Remember, we created a folder here called themes. So you can create a folder here called themes, or you can look for your own website. So your file manager, under your file manager, you have the home. This is your entire website, the entire host and all of that, where your details are. You can now see different WordPress, different apps that you've installed under, because WordPress is an app under your host. So you can see different apps that you've installed under. So the one we want to get access to today is, let me choose, I think, Elizabeth, I created this for you, but I don't think you ever used it. So I'm going to use liz.drivers.co, and we're going to go to WP content. We can move the files here, or we can just install straight up. So we can actually upload the file here, but let's check if it's done uploading. Hold on. Yes, it's done uploading. So we can actually move from themes, normal themes folder. Let's refresh to see if it has come. It hasn't come. Okay, so I think I have Envato. Let me just log in. Hold on. So always wait for this thing to show green. Yeah. So now we can reload. Yeah, we can copy. So now, if you want to copy, they will ask you to insert the file path. So what you are looking for, what you want to go and get the file path is this. You come to this domain that we chose, this one that we chose, this WordPress, you come to WP content, you come to themes, and then you come here to see everything. It's like how your folder moves in your computer and you copy it. When you copy it, you go back to where you want to copy from, you click on the file, you click on copy, and it tells you where to copy to, and then you copy the files there. Now, when you go back to themes, sorry, that's the wrong listing. Let me, themes, let's refresh. Oh, it didn't move. Oh, sorry, we copied the wrong folder. Let's delete this, confirm. So, fine. Hold on. Let's delete this. You can take this to, let's move this. I want to move this to, let's check it. Okay, I'm supposed to have public HTML. I can copy. Where is Liz? Guys, give me a second. Moving files around here can be weird sometimes. Okay, so let's select this. Home/public HTML or where's public HTML? Yeah, you can. This is my main website though. Let's just upload it to themes. Let's upload the same file to themes. So I'm just going to click on upload. No, you don't have to follow. I'm showing you different methods to upload. So select. So the question was, do we have to do this all the time? No. But if you want to add a theme, you don't have to go through cPanel. Remember, we're still treating File Manager on cPanel. So I'm showing you how to upload stuff on your cPanel. So while that is uploading, we're going to come back and check it. You can upload. So File Manager has uploads to add new files, themes, plugins, and images. The edit button is to modify. So you can actually edit different files. So if you come to this list and WP config, that's our config file. So we don't usually touch this, but if in case you are coding and you want to change something in your WordPress, maybe you want to increase the size of your upload and all of that, you can come here and edit this, but you might not be needing this many times, right? So delete is to remove unnecessary or harmful files. Move is to organize folders and migrate files. Control who can read. Permissions is to control who can write or execute files. So, I mean, we're not editing. So, but if you want to edit any of these logins, files, sign up, all of that, and you want to edit it as raw code, you can always edit it. If you also want to edit this text file, let's see how to, let's edit this. This is for the license. And we click on edit. So if you want to add any to the code, it's going to come up with a couple of, yeah, if you want to add to this, if you want to add whatever to this, you can add, but we're not doing any of that. So we're just going to close it up, right? So permissions is to modify users, right? Um, um, we can change permissions, different permissions for different people and different for different folders. How many people can access it? How many people can check it out, right? So pay attention to all of this. So like, let's recap again. We have your main file, which is where every website, if you open your cPanel, this is everything. Your host comes, this is your home, right? Or you can simply just go to your, what do they call it again? It hosts everything, everything. When you install WordPress on your host, this is everything. But when you have different folders, different websites on it, just go to your home. You can see all the different websites. This is one that I installed. This is another one that I installed. This is another one that I installed. This is another one, and I have 5 websites here. Now, remember we talked about backup yesterday. This was the backup that I had for this particular website, and I was able to install it. All right. So note file is to add a new file, folder, a new folder, copy is to copy an entire folder or template or theme or whatever. Move is to move materials between folders. Upload is to upload anything, whether it's folder, theme, zip files. Download is to download whatever you have. You can download, if I click on this now, I can actually download it to my laptop and it starts to download. Delete is to delete. You can rename, see, it's already downloading. So I'm just gonna close this. If you want to rename this, you can rename it, but we're not renaming that. You can change permissions, you can view what's in the file and all of that. You can compress it to a zipped file if it's not a zip file yet. So note this in your file manager. So anytime you're looking for a file and it's so difficult for you to find it via WordPress, you can come to the backend and just put your thing. Sometimes your network might be really slow in downloading things and uploading things. Just come to cPanel, upload your stuff or images on your cPanel, and you are good to go. For example, now for this list.co, which we are going to be checking out, if we go to WP content and we look for uploads, and in the uploads, this is the template, right? Let's go back one level. We want to add plugins, we can come here and add plugins, different plugins that we have here, right? So different plugins that we have here. Come in. This is your WordPress admin. You can come here and add your images, all your images here. All right, so I think that should be all for File Manager. So I've walked you guys through it. Always, no, things to note for your WordPress File Manager. Always back up files before making edits. Use File Managers mainly for small edits, uploads, and quick fixes. For large scale edits, use FTP. I will talk about FTP later for safer file transfer. Clean up unused files to maintain website speed and security. So sometimes if you install something and you don't want to be to you're not using it again, and it's just keeping space, it's just eating up space, remove it. Remove it so that you won't use it again. I'm going to let me explain this other part. This is your domain user, this is your hosting username, this is your domain name. This is your IP address, your home directory. So home/anything, you can find it inside here. Your last login IP, your user analytics ID, server information, all your server information is here. You can see all your server information is here, your uptime, everything is up, up, right? Everything is up. Okay, so we're just gonna go back. So if you look here, you see file usage 68,045. So every website you're building, you remember we said your host is just a place where all your files are hosted. So most times on your Stellar Plus, you get 300,000 MB. Is it MB? Yes, I think it's MB, which is 30 gig or so of file storage, which most times you might never finish it unless maybe you have multiple websites on one. So if you're going to be building multiple websites on one host, I advise that you never exceed 5 because each website is capable of having at least 5 gig of storage, 5 gig of storage. And if you shouldn't be able to use everything, right? Your disk usage is infinity. So I've only used like 2. Database, infinity, doesn't finish. SQL, your bandwidth doesn't finish. Your domain name does not finish. Subdomains does not finish. Email accounts does not finish. All of that. So, but the thing is that they all affect your space. So even if you create 1 million subdomains, it will also affect your file usage, right? So, because you're going to be uploading many files. So your physical memory, you barely even is 2 gig, but most times most people don't even like use up a lot of it, right? So that's that for file manager. Next thing, your file manager is your website toolbox. Understanding its folders and functions is a key to maintenance and backup and also troubleshooting. Next, we're moving to subdomains. So yesterday we talked about domains and subdomains. I'm just going to show you how to create a subdomain. So all you're looking for, remember, if you look at all these folders, hold on, let me show you. They are all open, so I'm just going to close them and go through them. La, la, la. So you see files, right? This is where we found File Manager. Now we are going to go to emails. We're going to go to domains, and we're going to look at domains, and we're going to find domains. And when we open domains, we can see all the domains connected to this particular account, and we can create new domains. We can create new domains. There's no restrictions to how many domains. You saw that our domains were much. They say we can create as many domains as we like. We can create as many domains as we like. Okay, so let's create a new domain. So we can create a new domain or a subdomain. Now, when I say create a new domain, sometimes a domain can be hosted somewhere else. Sorry, it can be bought on another account, but you want to connect it to your host. Remember, this is your host. Your cPanel is where your host is connected to. You can just add that domain and it will be connected. There are other things you will then go to your domain name server and change it to this current host name server. We might not be able to do that because I don't have a domain in a different place, but it's current, I think it's here. If I want to change that, I will just come to hosting list or domain list, sorry, and select a domain. This domain, yeah. When I click on it, it's supposed to give me a couple of details. When I click on manage, yeah. So see, the name servers is Namecheap. See, I'm using Namecheap West Hosting domain name server, right? So if I was adding a domain, maybe say from Darasimi's account, I would just connect my domain here. I'll just add darasimi.com here if he had a domain and change his on his Namecheap account. You just have to change the name servers to my own domain and my own hosting name servers, and he'll be fine. But from here, we're going to be creating subdomains. We're going to be creating subdomains. So we have, let's see all the domain. We have dravos.co. So let's create app or academy, because we want to create an academy.dravos.co, right? Don't share documents with the roots. Let it have its own separate document. And that's it. So remember when we talked about subdomain extensions, we said that we're adding whatever we want to name the subdomain because it's a subdomain of the main domain. So, and then we always add dot, not dash, not comma, dot. So any name dot, your domain name is a subdomain. And we're going to click on submit and create, and it doesn't take seconds and it creates. Now if you're using what's the word now, if you're using WordPress offline, you can't do this. You just have to repeat the process of installation. Name your database, create a new database, add a new WordPress folder like we did in our last class, rename it. When you're uploading it, add your database name, rename the file, all of that, and sign up. Just do it. You don't do the entire process again. But for subdomain, you can only do this with your cPanel. Okay, so it has installed. So let's confirm that it has installed. Where is it? academy.dravos.com. So this is it, right? So if we want to manage it, we'll see everything here. We can delete it if we want to. We can create an email address if we want to. We can create a site with SiteJetBuilder or modify the redirects. Where do we want this website to be redirecting to? Right? So, but we're not doing that right now. So let's go back. So that's how to create a subdomain. A subdomain is an extension of your domain. It helps you organize parts of your website into sections or mini sites. Each subdomain can have its own WordPress installation or project. So you can install a new website completely on a subdomain. Okay. So I've shown you guys how to create your own subdomain. You can send visitors from one domain to another using redirect, but I think I'm going to do a separate video for that. So when you're choosing your subdomain, please always keep your subdomain name short and descriptive. So things like portal.your domain name, shop.your domain name, school.your domain name, design.your domain name, academy.your domain name. Keep it short so that it's easy for you to find, or app.your domain name, right? Avoid overusing subdomains. Only create them when there is a clear purpose or separate audiences, right? Each subdomain can slow your domain name server, so always test before you create it. Manage redirects carefully to prevent broken links. I'm going to do a separate video on redirects, but yeah, that's that for domain. So anytime I say, okay, maybe your website is when maybe your website is all clacked up and you don't want to have everything under one, you can just go to academy dot. Like that's true. Now that I'm thinking of it, I think I'm going to move you guys to a different domain name as a subdomain, academy.therealsmo.com. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Let's see if this has finished downloading. Hold on. Yeah, I want to get a theme. We might be using it today or not. Mhm. Okay, so the next thing we want to look at now is what I call the software. Now, the software part of your website is where you can install WordPress and all of that. Where is it? So this is your WordPress manager by Softaculous. There are other things here for those of you that used to code and stuff, but we most likely will not be using any of this. So we're just going to go to WordPress manager. This is our concern, right? And you can see all your websites that you installed here. You can scan all of them if you want to scan all of them, right? But we're not doing all of that. So under this place, under software in cPanel is where you can either install it from here or come here to install it. The choice is yours. Nobody's really going to beat you, right? The choice is yours. And when you click on this, you can import, you can see the plugins that are installed or install plugins. You can check if your websites are up to date. You can see all the qualifications, all the configurations here, your site name, all of that. You can back up, you can restore backup, you can remove, you can uninstall. So let's log in to this particular website. Remember that this is the website that we wanted in WordPress. So Softaculous, right? That's the name. Softaculous is a built-in app installer inside cPanel. It allows you to install WordPress and 400 other apps in one click. No need to manual upload or database setup. You can also clone, backup, and delete WordPress sites from the same panel, right? So you just go to cPanel, Softaculous installer, WordPress, and install. Your site will go live, right? You can also manage you can create different WordPress sites. You can manage different WordPress inside Softaculous with just one click. So always update your plugins and your security and your themes. Remember, I showed you how to upload themes. So sometimes maybe your theme can have an upgrade. You just go to your file manager and upload, right? So let's go to Let's go to WordPress. I already logged in. Okay, so if you come to WordPress, remember yesterday we said we're supposed to sort our permalinks. So let's go to permalinks and set it as post name. Don't forget, do this before you start doing anything. Go to general. Yeah, okay, so our settings is fine. Anyone can register, no. We don't want that. We look at the time format, the time zone, the language, so that you not see your website is in French or is in Russia. So you speak English, you put it in the United States. You can add your WordPress site email, site URL, and the email, the admin email. So this is an admin email. This was the tagline, and let's change this to testing for. Are you guys noticing something is changing? Testing for the bootcamp. See here, your site title is also changing. All right, so you just need to click on Save Changes. Now let's install theme. For you to be able to install a theme, go to Appearance, go to Themes, and then add a theme, right? So you can come here and click on Add Theme and Upload Theme. If I click on Upload Theme, I click on choose file and I go and upload that my theme and I install it. So let's wait for it to install. Very easy to install. It's gonna install, or we can manually do it, but I don't want to manually do it. And you see their LMM, WordPress also has like its own almost 7,000 themes that you can use. But sometimes I don't like to use any of these themes because they are just there, right? I like to download my own type of themes from here, from Envato. So I just have to go to WordPress and search for whatever I want to add, and I download it. Okay, so assignment, those we gave an assignment yesterday that you should install WordPress on offline for those that don't have domain and hosting. And if you have domain and hosting, install it online. Okay, so for backup and restoration, all you need to do is go to cPanel under files up here, you see backup. And you can download full account backup. If you have a backup that you have already done, you can upload either your database or your file backup, or you can just download your home directory backup. You can download your emails, all of that. You can download everything here. This is how you do it easy. I don't have a backup. I would have been able to do that. So, but if you encounter any issues, please reach out to me. But this is how you do backup. And you can download a full backup of this entire site here, right? So home directory, do not send email notification after this. Oh no, I need email notification, include integration links, external account, generate backup. So I can download my backup. Once the backup is complete, I receive an email address. I receive an email at the address, blah, 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 to come and check it back. But backing up your website is easy. Always back up your website. I explained yesterday that there are times where I installed a plugin that was a complete mess. And by the time by the time I got back again, I couldn't log into my website. All I did was to install the backup I had like 5 months ago, and the plugin wasn't there. The plugin that caused the issue wasn't there. So I was able to just continue and make edits. So that's it for backups, right? Um, for security and access, you can check this via security. This is your SSL, right? Your SSL yesterday, we told you it's an encryption between your server and your website. So you can actually manage your SSL here to install it. So for those of us who are not using Namecheap, you can actually install your SSL from here. You can upload your SSL from here, your SSL certificate from here. You can install and manage from here. But we that we are using Namecheap, all we need to do is go to Namecheap SSL and install manually or install automatically. So if you have Namecheap SSL, most times it installs automatically. We just created a new domain, yes, academy.dravos.com. You can see that it has been activated. It's active already. So I have about 50 SSLs to go for 50 subdomains. So, right. Okay. I think that should be it. Your website hosting account contains sensitive information, files, emails, database, and users' data. Without proper security, your website can actually be hacked, can be infected with malware, and used for phishing, right? So cPanel includes like several built-in tools to help you protect and access your data. Always change your cPanel password when your host sends you your details in your mail. When you open your cPanel, always change your password. You can change your password from here, your password and security. You can add your old password here and then remove the new one, right? And you can generate a new password, but always change your password from time to time so that you will not get hacked or you will not lose access to your host. Okay, so that should be all on cPanel. So watch this video again and we would be able to make progress. So let's check if our theme has finished installing. I'm showing for those who were asking, how do you install a theme? So you see, the theme has installed. We can now click and activate it. When we activate it, it will ask us to install a couple of things. Yeah. Remember, you saw this for those that were doing offline. I'm sure you saw this. So let's just return to dashboard first. We're not going to be installing a theme yet. We're not ready to build. So we're going to treat this later on. Okay. So now that we're done with cPanel, the next thing we are going to is Figma. Today, I'm going to be introducing you guys to Figma. All right. Can I move along? Are you guys with me?
I have a question.
Hold on. Again. Okay, I just realized that I stopped recording, so I'm going to go over everything I said again. Figma, I'm going to go over everything I said again. So guys, pardon me. So what is Figma? Figma is a modern UI UX design tool that runs in the browser and also has desktop apps. It combines interface design, prototyping, collaboration, and basic developer handoffs in one place, right? So why do designers love it? Real-time collaboration, people can edit the same file at once, right? It's a cross-platform application, can be used on Windows, it can be used on MacBook, on Linux, and also on your browser, right? And you can design with many tools. You can design many stuffs on Figma, a lot of stuff on Figma, and also your teams can drop comments. I've worked on projects. Let me show you. I worked on this project, and hold on. So I worked on this project. This is a website that I designed on Figma. And if the owner of this website wanted to drop a comment, all they needed to do was they'll pick a place on the website and drop a comment, right? So you could drop your comments and whoever has access to this file will be able to see it, but we're going to get there. Okay, so it's good for prototyping. You can see what your website looks like on different apps, different devices, whether it's desktop or mobile. And it's actually very, very interesting, right? And you can easily hand off, you can switch, you can see the code for every website. It's quite an interesting app. So we're going to be explaining Figma. For you to be able to sign up, just go to figma.com and sign up and create a new account. Go to figma.com, sign up, create a new account, and you get new accounts. When you get the new account, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this interface. So I'm going to explain everything here for you. Now, when you get to Figma, you're going to see recent. If you've been designing before, you see all your recent files. Here, you're going to see community. Now, one thing I love about Figma is that it has a huge community base, meaning that a lot of people have designed different things that you can go and see some of their work. Some are free, some are paid. We have plugins on Figma that you can use to do many, many things. But some are paid, some are free. You can even create plugins from scratch, and people will use it either for free or paid on Figma, but you can also view other people's projects. So let's say this is a community now. This is the community. I'm explaining different parts of Figma. This community, I'm just going to go to user. So let me say I'm looking for UI kits, right? And no, these are wireframes, sorry. Let me choose UI kits. Or I can just come here and search for websites. And websites will come out. See, I have 100 plus websites. 100 plus websites. I can see this e-commerce website. You can see different pages, right? So if I click on this and I say open in Figma, it ask me what account I want to open it in. And I can see other people's design. So now that I've opened this, I can actually copy it, right? I can copy what somebody else has done. Now, people design on Figma and share to community so that other people can use it, other people can take advantage of it, right? So the network is quite slow. So yeah, now your draft is where all your designs are. You're not sharing your drafts with anybody. But when you move your drafts to teams, when you move your drafts to, when you move your projects to project, when you move whatever design you have to project, you can share this with anybody. So if I open this file, this is a slide now, but I'm only allowed to add 3 files. So we're going to be, let me add another file, but I can only give 3 people access. I can only give 2 people access. So let's add a new file on Figma. I'm still going to explain all of that. So this is a new file on Figma. You can come here and add a new file of Figma, or you can just add a new project here. But if you're adding from drafts, you can just come to drafts and add, you can choose whether to add a design, FigJam. So FigJam is for ideation. Let's say I'm building, let me say I'm building an app, for instance, and I want to map out how different users interact with my app. So from the login to verification, all of that. So this is an app that I'm building, right? So if you look at this, I say, oh, new user comes in, sign up, email verification. If email verification is yes, and they verify this and all of that, account approved, they can start their onboarding. But if it's no, you have to repeat the process or log out and resend OTP. This is just for mapping out your ideas, mapping out the things that you want to do, all of that, right? This is how you map out. This is called user flow, and you use FigJam to map out your user flow. All right, so Figma slides is how I created my slides, right? Figma Buzz, you can see other people's, you can see what's Figma Buzz? I've forgotten what this does. Okay, it's like creating layouts, but it's as you can create and publish brands and designs, like maybe graphics design. You can always create, yeah, like social media designs, ads, like that. You can create all of that right now on Figma Buzz. But I barely use Figma Buzz because I use Affinity to design. Then there's Figma Sites. You can create your website with Figma Sites. Then there's Figma Make. So yeah, you can create a new website completely in Figma with this. You can check out templates. You can check out templates that you use. You can add new templates. You can view those templates. You can use these templates and create new pages. And you can actually go live. You can actually go live. Then there's Figma Make. With Figma Make, you can use AI to build out your and prototype your ideas, right? So it says, what do you want to design? So if I say, design me a fintech back app for transfers, withdrawals, and save. So once I do that, it starts to create the app straight up. It starts to create the app. So this is with AI. AI starts to create. Can we see that? So we're going to see that later. But yeah, so when you open Figma, this is all it means. Then if you want to import a Figma file, you come and import it from here. You can either import images, you can import sketch files. Sketch is another tool like Figma, right? You can import PowerPoints, PDFs, and also Figma files, right? So Figma files have .fig as their extension, right? So that's that. This is where all your files are. And of course, when you're no longer using files and you delete them, they all go to trash, right? So this is where I put all my trash. So let's check. See, it's writing the code. You can literally build out anything with Figma Make, right? So if you're confused about an idea that you have, you don't know how to go about it, just use Figma Make and you'll be able to come up with those beautiful, beautiful, beautiful ideas. Okay, so I'm going to be explaining the different parts of Figma. This is the file that we opened, but I want this. Okay, we'll check this code later on. Let's see. Has this opened? Yeah, so you can see different web pages. This person designed this particular web page, yeah, you can see all the different parts of this website. So these are different parts of a website that somebody has designed, which is quite nice. It's just there, but it's nice. Yeah, it's quite nice. Okay, so somebody has actually designed all of this. Okay, so I'm going to just be explaining, yeah. So I think our app is ready. Our app is ready. Version 1. Let's see. So I'm showing you what Figma Make does. We're going to go into Figma full time now. Yeah, you see? So with AI, we're able to create this instantly with AI. Guys, give me a minute, please. Okay, so can we see Figma Make, right? So if I publish this particular site right now, all of you can actually view this on your phone, right? So this is sometimes if you're struggling to design, just come here, drop the idea, and it will build it for you, and you can see. So expense. So whatever idea, you can actually proof run it with this. So if I want to select a place and I say, okay, make this active, right? I need to actually make it active. So we'll come back to that later. So now, when you open your Figma file, this is Figma. I'm using the app, but it's the same thing on the desktop, right? I'm using the app, but it's the same thing on the browser, sorry, on the browser. If I open here instead, it's the same thing on the browser, so just pay attention. Now, note this, I'm going to be showing you different components now. This is how you navigate. So if you open file, if you want to create a new design, you can choose what type of design you want to create, or you can import. If you want to add images, if I click on place image, I can extract my images from here. Let me see, flyers. I can extract my images and put them here. Yeah, and it's going to paste. Can you see? And I can do with my images whatever I want to do. So I'm just going to delete that. This big F here, that's how you move. If you want to save a copy, save a version history, it saves automatically, but if you want to save, that's fine. If you want to export your file or your document, you can export it. If you want to so we can have, I'll explain what frames are. Sometimes we can have frames here. If I want to export this frame now, let's say like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I design maybe a book. I can actually export as a PDF, and all of them will come as though it's a notebook, right? So that's how you export with PDF. I'm going to be explaining other things, but let's pay attention to this. Um, um, if you want to undo copy as, these are the shortcuts. So pay attention to all these shortcuts. Control F to find, Control Shift F next, previous, pick a color is I, all of those things. So pay attention to all of this to view. Okay, so your pixel grid is, if you zoom in, if I have a file and I zoom in, I can actually see my pixel grid, but I'm going to turn that off. I use that from time. My layout guides, they are here. I'm going to show you my layout guides. You can add rulers if you want to see your app. So if I have a frame here now, I can actually add this and pull out another one and add rulers here, just for me to know where I'm doing my stuff, and I can move, the rulers move with me. But okay, I don't need all of that. I'm just going to remove the ruler. Yep. So you can name your file here. And what I'm going to name it now, let's say it's SWDC. And you see the name changes. Right. So I'm going to be explaining the toolbar. This is our toolbar here. Hold on. If you don't know where a toolbar is, it's below. Let me take this up. Okay. Okay, so this is your toolbar. V is to move. So if you have a file, right? Let's say you have this frame here and you were typing on it. Hello. Okay, let me increase the size of that text. Right? And you want to move this file, all you need to do is click on V and you can move this, right? But if you are clicking inside, you won't be able to move it. If you come out, click on V, and you'll be able to move files or move frames in Figma. Select and move with ease. Okay. The frame tool, F, is to draw frames. Now, frames are different from shapes. Let me explain to you now. Move tool is V. It's how your mouse moves stuff around, right? If you look down here, I don't know if you guys can see my toolbar down. Can you see down of my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So the scale, if I want to scale, hold on. Let me select this hand tool. You can use your hand tool to drag something down. You can use your move tool. I prefer using the move. But also, you can use your scale. Scale is just by pressing K. Now, if I want this thing to move without, I want it to so that I can maintain all the sides of this frame, all I need to do is, hold on. This is V. I select this frame. I click on K. I can come to the side and it will increase based. It won't take off all the sides, right? But if the V is not selected, if I pull, it's going to increase the length. If I pull up, it's going to increase the length. If I pull side, it's going to increase both left and right. But when I'm scaling, I do like this, and it maintains both width and breadth size that I want, just makes it bigger. Okay, same with whatever thing, text or all of that. You can scale text very small without, so if I have a text here, for instance, and I say, Dara, see me. If I try to pull this without scaling, it will increase the space, right? So, but if I scale, I can increase Darasimi like this, and I can center Darasimi as I want. I use V to move. Do you understand now? Okay. We have the shape tool. Let me show you the shape tools. This is a frame. Hold on. This is a frame. A frame, before I go to shape tools, a frame can house many things from text to images. Can have images. It can house shapes. Can house shapes. A frame can house all of that so that it doesn't move. Now, this empty space you have here is called your artboard. This is where you can add many frames as possible, right? Many frames as possible. And I'm saying many frames as possible. But this is your frame. Your frame can house text. You can have different properties, all of that inside a frame, right? It's different from a rectangle, right? We're coming to shapes, so I'm going to explain it to you. A section, if you have many shapes and you want to put everything inside one, you can have everything in a section. You can now name this, you can now say, okay, this is Darasimi's project. So maybe you finish building an entire website and you don't want to, you guys are plenty working on different parts of the website. You can just put your own website in a section. All right. So I'm going to go back. Okay, so this is a frame. Now let's go to, let's see, um, let's see shapes. Now we have rectangle. Now, the rectangle is a shape. If you can use the rectangle to create multiple shapes, you can create different things, right? So if I take the rectangle and I add a circle, right, by just doing O, I can create a new shape. I can select the two of them, come here and create subtract, and I have a new shape, right? You can use shapes to create different shapes, but you cannot house other things inside a rectangle. You cannot. So if we add this circle here into a rectangle, when we move the rectangle will move away. When we move the circle, it can move away. But if we put this rectangle inside a frame, yeah, if we move the frame, everybody moves. That's the difference between a rectangle. So one of the mistakes that people make is that once they finish designing, they use rectangle to design instead of frame. So sometimes when they move, they are noticing that their design are scattered because they are using rectangle instead of frame. Use frame for whatever thing. You can house anything you want to house inside your website in your frame. We have circle. Ellipse tool is the circle. Arrow tool is to draw arrows. If you want to draw an arrow, this is an arrow tool. Right? Hold on, let me increase the size of this arrow here. So this is an arrow tool. You can add a line. This is a line tool here. This is star. If you want to add star, you can add star, or most times we call it what do you call it now? We call it polygon, because you can add multiple sides to it, right? You can make it 3 like that, the star. That's a star. Then we have the polygon. The polygon also does the same thing. You can create nanogons, all of that. Yeah. You can reduce it and add all of this. Now, this is shape tool. Note, we have rectangle, we have star, we have arrow, we have line, we have all of these things. The next thing we want to look at is the layers tab. Now, every single thing here is inside a layer, right? You can view all of them here. You see your polygon. If I select it, it's selected here. Now I can rename my polygon and name it triangle 1. Always note the names of whatever it is you are doing so that you don't get confused. Everything is in a layer. So let's assume I want to build a landing page, for instance. Yeah. And I have this. Let me scale all of them down. Push them here. And I want to add a landing page, a frame here, right? Let's say a website. I can name this website test 1. You see it changes here. Now, anything I add into this website, maybe I add an image or a rectangle. I can add a rectangle, which is R. I can add a rectangle here inside this web page. I can add another rectangle inside this web page. Now, this can be my website, right? I can add this inside my website, but I can also rename it and say, okay, this one is Hero 1. This is the hero section. This is the Hero 2. This is another hero section, right? So anytime I want to change the color of Hero 2, I can just come here. It makes it easy for whoever is designing to know what they are doing and what it entails. Do we all understand? Are we getting it? You get a hang of it. I know that sometimes this is first time for some of you people. So there are questions here. Okay. Yes, you can add a frame inside another frame. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Okay, so you can add another frame inside another frame. You just make sure they are not the same size so it doesn't confuse you. See, I can add, this is a rectangle, so this is another frame. I can add another frame and add it inside here. Probably just change the color. Yeah, so you can add frames inside frames. Yeah, we're going to be adding a lot of frames inside a single frame to build our websites. And I'm going to, when we start designing with Elementor, you understand why you do that. Okay, so that's that for the layers tab. Then for the assets tab. Now, your assets tab is whatever thing you use to design your website, like your buttons, your icons, they are all called assets, right? You can find free assets here, or you can actually create your own asset tab. There are projects I've worked on. I had to create the icons myself. I've had to create the colors, do the color tone, all of that myself. But you can come here, iOS has their own. So let's say I want to add what do they call it now? A button. I will just come here to assets. There's files. This is where you see all your files and your pages. So you can add multiple pages if you want. So this our first page can be, let's name our first page mood board. This is where we gather all our ideas. Your mood board is where you gather your idea, but we can also change this to main design. So in our mood board now, we want to gather ideas for button. So let's just search for, we're going to search for button. We need a CTA button, all those buttons, login buttons, all of that. You can see different buttons that have been designed by different people, right? This one has a drop down, different buttons. So, but let's just go with this one. So I'm just going to pull it out, just drag and drop. And it will drop, but it's very small. It's very small because I'm zoomed in, zoomed out. Okay, so you can see, so I told you guys that when you zoom in, you see the pixel grids. You can see all these boxes, right? That helps you know where you are. Okay. So can you see this? This is a button. Now I can change the color of this button from here. Its design system has been built. I can change it to black. Yeah, I can change it to black. I can change this label to my name. Right? So this is where you find assets. If you create yours, this is also where you find it. But we're not going to be using that for now. We're just going to close it. We're going to go to file. Okay. So we also remember we've already built pages. So let's recap what we did. We did pages. We can create multiple pages. If you're on the project is only 3 pages you can create, but if you're on draft, your project is so that you can share. If you're on a team project, so that you can share with other people and they can collaborate. 3 people who have already downloaded and installed Figma or already have a Figma account, please drop your mail in the chat box so I'll add you to this file right now on the call so that I can do that right now so you see what I'm saying. If you have your computer on, drop your email. I'll add you to the Figma file. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm just going to add you to the Figma file. So I'm going to click share. Anyone in the team project. So let me add you here. I'm going to invite you. You can edit. Emmanuel. Control C. You can also edit. Or is it only one person I can add? Because this Figma sometimes they can move mad. Only 3 people. I think it's only 3 people. So you guys will have to check your mail and then accept. Can accept my invite. Yeah, I think it's only 3 people you can add. Yeah, only 3 people you can add. Only those that are invited. Yeah. Wait, someone should send one more mail. Let's see if we can add one more mail. One more person. Let's see if we can add one more person. Okay, so Emmanuel, I can see you. Can you see me in the app? Yeah, can you see Emmanuel? So collaboration on Figma is quite easy.
Yes.
So if Emmanuel, click on C and drop a comment. Can you see? Click on something and then click see. Yeah. And drop a comment. I can see your comments. Yeah. Type a comment. So you can easily collaborate. Now, if I want to see what Emmanuel is seeing, so if other people are working on the team and they are going through different files, I can just click on Emmanuel and I'm going to see everything that Emmanuel is saying, right? And I can go back to myself and see what I am seeing. Okay, so we've explained pages, we've explained layers. Now, let's talk about design. Now, in this page, when we are clicking on the artboard, remember I said this empty space that you're using to build is your artboard, is this open space, right? So if I click on this, I can actually change my artboard to white. But because I like everything dark mode, I like to keep it at gray. Somewhere like this. Yeah, not too dark. Somewhere like this. I like to create this and edit, right? We will not be talking about variables because it's not a UI UX class, right? But we'll be talking about styles and exports. Now, but if we select a file, right, it shows us the different features of that file. This is where you see the everything of that file. Now, if you create this file, let's create a frame. Let's cancel everything here. So I'm just going to create a, okay, before I explain frame to you guys, when you click on F, right, which is to open a new frame, you will see different frames. And these frames are different screen sizes for designing. So if it's the phone, you can see Android, iPhone, all of that, iPhone 13, 14, 15, all of that, you can see. But we're not concerned about iPhone. If you want to see tablets, you can see different tablets, right? And their screen sizes. But we're concerned about desktop. So let's check desktop. I like to use MacBook Pro 16. Although there's desktop, let's click on desktop. Right, so this is desktop. If you want to zoom in, if you're using a mouse, hold your control and scroll up with your mouse, right? So control, scroll up, control, scroll down is zoom out, scroll up, zoom in, scroll up, zoom out. If you are using, what do you call it? A trackpad, you just open and close your two hands on your trackpad. But if you are using, what's the word now? If you're using keyboard, just control plus, 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 control minus, minus, minus. Yeah, that's it. So this is our desktop file. Let's name our desktop test file. Okay, so now we want to create what we call header. When you're building your website, there's header, there's hero pages and all of that. So let's create a header. So I'm just going to create this. I'm going to create this. So your header is supposed to be the same size with your frames width, but let's create a header. So in our header, what do we have? We have home, about. Let's duplicate this, Control D to duplicate about. Services, blog, and contacts. Okay, so now we have all of this. Now, but notice that they are not on the same, they are all going up. They are not on the same line. Now, if we want to align them, we'll click on each and every one of them while holding your shift button down. If you want to select multiple multiple characters in your Figma file, you click on it and then hold shift and select the others, right? And select the others. Now you see position. What you are looking for is there's position and align. Under position, we have alignment. So this is align left, align horizontal center, align right, align top, align vertical center, and align bottom. Then this is to tidy up. So there are, if the tidy up means to tidy means to make the spaces in between them very equal, right? So if you look at this place where it's the layouts, the space is mixed because they are not equal. So we're going to select all, and then we're going to come here and align vertically. All of them are now on the same line. We're also going to tidy up. They're all on the same line now. But the font is, for me, it looks too small. So let's change the font. We can change the font here by, let's see, can select different fonts. So I like Poppins. So I'm going to use Poppins font, and I'm going to increase the font size. So this typography section is the font size. So I'm going to increase the font size. If I'm increasing the font size, what are you noticing? You're noticing that it's entering each other, right? You use tidy up and align to also expand that, or you move it manually. So let's keep it at, let's see, 24 is fine. Let's tidy up again. Okay. So now there's what we call group. If you select all these files, you can select all or you can use shift, right? Now, if you had a rectangle, if this was a rectangle, it would have selected the rectangle. That's why I don't use rectangle to build a page. So I select all of this and then I group. When I group it, everything moves. Everything moves. So now I'm going to create an extra frame. This frame, I'm going to create it inside this place, right? Or I can just create the frame here, but I'm going to note what is the width of our file, 1440. I'm going to click here and come to width and make sure that it's 1440. Now the height can be between 130 and 135 and 150, right? So let's make it 150 so that we have space. 150. We're creating a header. Let's change the header to, let's say, cream. So let's move this color. Let's make it creamy. And then we can add it here. So do you notice something? As I moved it, it entered into this frame. We can then center it. Now, I don't like the space in between it is too much. I come here under layout, you see this space. You can reduce this to 40. Just take your time to practice on Figma and align it. Did you notice that when I reduce the page, sorry, hold on, let me go back, Control Z to go back. I had to align it. So I click center and it was aligned. Okay, so we've added our navigation menu on our header. So let's be sure, this is a frame. Let's be sure that it's the top and the bottom are the same. We'll align it. We click on align, it's aligned. Okay, now if you click on this frame, it's aligned top, but if you align it center, it will go to the center of the website. So you align it at the top. So what are we missing here? We're missing a button. Let's add a button. To add a button, we can either add a button by adding a frame here. Let's change the color. This is appearance is where you have color. So fill, let's change the color to red. And inside, we add a text. You click on T, or you can just add text and come here and click and say sign up. You can also center the text here. I'm going to make the sides curvy. I'm going to add curve to the sides. And there we go. We have a button. What's my text size? My text size is 24. My button is too big. I can reduce the size from top to bottom. And I can align it. All right. Then we can now move it into this frame, right? But guess what? We really don't know whether there is equal space among this thing. We also don't want our button to be touching our website. You enter some website, you see it like this. You see this one scattered like this. Let's add a logo. Now, I didn't even finish explaining this toolbar to you guys. So let's pause and go back to the toolbar. Remember, we stopped at shapes. The next is we want to go to pen. With your pen tool, just by clicking P, you can draw whatever you want to draw, anything at all. Anything at all, just by clicking different points. You can draw anything, right? So this is it. You can draw any shape at all. And you can add color to the shape, right? And you can use it across your website and all of that. Now, but when you have the pen tool, when you have your pen tool, hold on. I can't seem to. My keyboard is messing up. Okay, so when you have your pen tool, let's do that again. P, let's say I want to do a table. I can make all these places curved. And when I click on the points, so this is a pen, we've created a box with a pen tool. We can click it. When we click on the points, you can see all these other tools, right? Now, we can make this, hold on. We can move this freely. This is to move a different side of the table, maybe to create perspective or something. But I'm not going to do that. We can also use this tool to be able to draw and trace. Hold on. To select, okay, this is where we want to add. We can add a color to this place. You can add color fill to that box, but that's not what we want. Let me undo. My undo is not working. Okay, but we can use this to curve this. Can you see? So you can create almost anything in Figma. Okay. You can cut different parts of this tool. Right. Hold on. I can cut this different parts of this tool and use it for whatever it is that I like. Okay, so let's clean all of this. Then we have the pencil tool. The pencil tool is under the pen tool. This, you can use it to draw anything you want, right? So if you want to sign signature, you can use it to sign signature as you like. So let's delete it. Okay, text tool, we can use it to add text anywhere that we want to add text. You can add text. Now, the thing with text is, let me explain something with text for you guys. The thing with text is this: when you click on text, if you look at this layout, we can make all these texts. We can see that all these texts incoming. We can align everything to face here. If all this text is like this, we can actually align it to move. Figma has a way of making your text come like this. I like this. You can also just come here and click straight. So if you added a text, maybe copied lorem ipsum or something, or you have words and you just wanted to make it straight up, you just come here and click this. You can click this too, and it will be between a box, right? You can also click this and it will be the entire thing that will be between you to align it into different parts of text. So this is for text. Our header, something's wrong with our header. Home, about. Okay, so this is comments. This is where we saw Emmanuel's comment. So Emmanuel's comments, I'm going to delete it as done because we've deleted all the files, so you can't see the files he commented on. So I'm just going to mark it as done. Okay, comment resolved. So if you want to drop a comment on a particular file, let's say I was working with this file with Emmanuel and I don't like the way these buttons are aligned. I can just click on C or click on this comment icon, come here and say, hello, Emmanuel. This button is touching the edge. Align properly. Right? And there we go. If Emmanuel comes, he can see my Emmanuel, click on this and respond so that we can see your response. Okay. So that being said, we've created a header. Now we're supposed to add a logo. Now, this place we have plugins. Now, Figma has plugins that enables you add things like images without having to go and download from your browser. You can just come here and download images, and you can download icons that you use for your app or for your websites, different parts, right? I'm going to give a recap, but this is plugins. So if you come to plugins and widgets, and I say, okay, I want a plugin for images, for icons. If I come here and I click, Iconify is one of the most popular plugins, and I say, okay, I want a logo for maybe a Facebook logo or something. Yeah, I can see different logos, right? Let me pick this TED, and I drag it and drop it out here, right? Now I'm going to use this logo here. Now, so I was telling you guys that one of the ways to avoid your website being scattered is by using layout grids. Now, what do you mean by layout grids? A typical website is not supposed to touch, hold on, let me stop all this things. A typical website is not supposed to touch either the left or the right side of your website. There's always space in between the left or the right. So even if we go to, let's say, CNN.com, any website at all, any website at all, you see that there is space here. The things are centered here. There is space left and right. If you go to therealsmo.com, if you go to, there is space. You can see there is space. Sometimes the space will be huge. Sometimes the space will be not so huge. If you zoom in, the space is not so huge, but it's never touching the edge of the website, right? It's never touching the edge of the website. So now for us to be able to create layout grids on Figma, all you need to do is come back to Figma. Sorry, network is bad. Okay, so come back to Figma. Come to close this scale. Select this your test file. When you select test file, come down to layout guide. Once you click that, add a layout guide. Now, under the layout guide, it will ask you whether you want grid or column. You say column, I want columns. How many columns do you want? I want, let's say, 12 columns, right? Because I always use this last one as my guide. Or I just take it off. I say, okay, let me put it in the center. And if it's in the center, I'm going to make the width 100, or let's say 50. Too small, 70, depending on what you want to do. 70. Okay, I think 80 will be fine. Yeah, I think it's so whatever it is that we are designing, we're not adding anything in this white space. Are we good? This is how you add columns, layout grids, columns. You can add the number you want, and you can increase this if you want, right? So let me leave this at 30. Okay, so my website is not going to touch the edge. So now, when I'm designing, okay, Manuel has responded to the comments. So let's see the reply. What is touching? Okay, so let's take this logo and insert in our frame. This logo here, put it in this frame. Remember, we said to scale, you click K. So I want to maintain the rounded, the property of this logo, and I put the logo here, right? I align it center. It's centered now. Then I select my header and align it center. I select my button, bring my button here, align it center, make sure it's at the edge. You can zoom in to see it. Yeah. And maybe I'll probably scale it down because my button should not be this big. And center, right? Now we have everything at the center. So now I can now tidy up and say, okay, you know what? Let me align all of this so that they look nice. Right. So now we have our first header. You can build multiple headers for your website. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to stop here. I'm just going to go over what we learned today. So I want you guys to, your assignment for tonight, every single person should create a Figma file and then add me to it. I'll drop my email on the community group. Create a Figma file, create a header with a logo, navigation menu, and your sign up button. I want to be able to see that on Figma. All right, so I think we'll stop here for tonight. When we come tomorrow, we're going to be talking a lot about plugins that we can use on Figma. We're talking about best practices for Figma. Everybody's going to show me their work, right? We're going to talk about different tools in Figma. We're going to design headers and footers. We're going to do quite a lot on Figma tomorrow, so don't miss it. Don't miss it. For those of you who are watching the cohort, you bought the course and are watching the cohort, just move over to the next video. You can drop a screenshot of your projects in the community and we will rate your header. There are different headers. You can go online and search for headers and we will show you and we will see if your work was very nice. I think I have a folder where I created many headers. I'm just going to show you guys. Let me see. Let me go to drafts. Before we go, I created quite a number of headers. Let me see if it's here. So practice, practice, practice. The thing we learned about WordPress, install a theme on your WordPress, test one or two things out. The community is active. Ask questions if you're lost. Try something. You can move ahead. If you understand a lot, you can move ahead so that we'll catch up with you, But I want you to learn a lot from this particular class. This is our app that we are building with Figma Make 2. So the network is quite slow. Network is quite slow. So I'm looking for the header. I made the screenshot. Because I was going to sell those headers on Envato. Just going to upload it so that other designers can, other WordPress guys can just install and use, or you can download as a Figma file. But different headers, I'm coming. That's all I'm going to be checking tonight. So I'll probably show you guys in my next class, in the next video. So see you tomorrow. I'm going to stop recording now. See you tomorrow, but hold on. All right, guys, see you in the next video.